Thank you everybody for being here. The family wanted to share some memories, and it's been a kind of a tough time for all of them, and most of them were kind of afraid that they wouldn't be able to make it through, so they've asked me to share some memories and just some thoughts on Carol. Some of these are going to be my own, and some of these are some things that the kids and grandkids wanted me to share. I just want to start off that, she was the love of my life, even though, things didn't turn out like the dream come true or whatever. She still, when I met her and we basically had a whirlwind romance, I guess, and went to Las Vegas and got married and moved to Missouri, just all within about a year's time, and started our family. And we started our family here in Missouri. She loved it here. We really loved it here in Missouri. I remember, back in those days, she loved hearing stories from her grandmother Munea that lived down in Knoll. And that's where we moved to originally, was down in Knoll. And we spent a lot of time in Tulsa with her grandpa Jeff and her grandma Bill. And so in the early days, there was a lot of spending time with the grandma and grandpa. When we lived in Knoll and then we moved to Goodman, her dad had a campground there in Knoll, and we enjoyed spending a lot of time there and helping out at the campground, and had some concerts there. I don't know, some of you might have gone to see Joe Cocker down there and Elvin Bishop and stuff. We had put on some concerts down there in Knoll at the campground. Then he opened a steakhouse, and Carol worked in the kitchen at the steakhouse, and I used to wait tables, just kind of just to help out. That wasn't I still have a real job, but yeah. We moved to Goodman, and we bought a house. It was a brand new house in a brand new neighborhood, so there was a lot of young families that lived in the neighborhood. And but it seemed like our house was the one that a lot of the kids congregated at and liked to hang out at. All of these kids had friends in the neighborhood. You can see some of the pictures that we have on the wall was some of those days in Goodman with the kids growing up and stuff. A lot of them considered Carol her second mom. She was like a second mom to everybody in Goodman. And then when she moved up here to Neosho, she was kind of a second mom to everybody, to lots of people here in Neosho also. Even though the marriage didn't last, we somehow continued to remain friends, and we were always there for each other no matter what else was going on. Not just for each other, but for the family, which was always a priority. Over the years, I think our love and respect for each other only grew stronger, even though we weren't meant to be together. Most of the memories shared, I asked for some memories that they wanted me to speak of, and they all had to do with being what a great grandma she was mostly. But what her favorite thing was being Mema. Just how wonderful a mother and grandmother she was, not just to our immediate family, but to everybody else she came across. Some of the things that came up were how she always was purposeful and thoughtful in making sure that on birthdays that everybody got just the perfect cake that they wanted or whatever, and then on holidays she knew, the favorite pies that everybody wanted and the favorite things. Mine was chocolate pie, but she would do pumpkin pies and pecan pies and coconut cream pies and chocolate pies and everything, because that's what everybody wanted, and she just wanted to make sure that everybody had that. Everybody loved her caramels. She made homemade caramels, and everybody loved them. And she passed on a lot of these recipes to the kids too. So we'll always be able to enjoy some of those pies and some of those caramels, I think. Some of you may know she struggled with asthma and lung problems all her life. I couldn't count the times she's been in the hospital due to asthma or pneumonia. In later years, she was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder that most people never even heard of, which complicated her lung issues. I truly believe she outlived any expectations her doctors had of her. She was pretty stubborn. She wasn't going to go. She wanted to make sure all the kids and grandkids were taken care of, and she didn't want to go. She fought hard, tried as hard as she could to not let her health slow her down and prevent her from being there for the family. She worked right up to the end to ensure that she would always be able to travel to California and get to see the grandkids that lived there. And I think all year long she'd kind of buy stuff, put stuff away so that make sure that the grandkids always had stuff for Christmas. And those were her main priorities. Like I said, it's been a tough week. We've had a lot of stress. All the kids wanted to honor her in such a special way, and sometimes that brings a little extra stress. But I want all of them to know that I don't think she's up there worrying about the details or anything. She just appreciates all the love that was put into everything that you guys have done. When they were going through some of her stuff to find insurance policies and things like that, she had a manila envelope with her insurance policy information and all that. And on the front of this envelope, she had written kind of a letter to the kids, to the grandkids. She had all their names on it. I don't know when she wrote it. It looked like it may have even been a few years back. So I like I said, she's been in ill health, so I think she knew, eventually. But I'm going to read what she had to say here. This is kind of a printed copy, but she actually had all the names and little hearts and things like that on it. She named each kid and each grandkid and all that with little hearts and stuff. But I'm just going to say, to my children and grandchildren, Kevin, Larry, and Cleta, which is her uncle, and friends, you know who you are. And she did put that on there. You know who you are. Hugs and kisses. I love you all so much. I could have never asked for a more wonderful life. I will be with you all in heart and spirit. I thank God for all the wonderful blessings I've enjoyed in my lifetime here on earth. And I know it doesn't end. There's more for all of us. Keep thanking Him for our wonderful family and friends, and take care of each other. Don't forget you are all different, but that shouldn't stop you from loving each other. Stay together and take care of each other. I am so proud of all of you. My heart melts, and I smile just thinking about all of you. I will ride on your shoulders and in your hearts until we are together again. Love, Mom/B-Mom.
I'm Caden, one of her grandsons, and I just had a couple of things that I wish I could have said to her while she was still here. I love you. Thank you for always making me feel loved. When I told you about my girlfriend in California, you're the only person who didn't look at me like I was crazy. You were excited for me and offered to drive me out to meet her. I never knew you were so cool. Thank you for always making me feel proud to be me. Thank you for being my Mema. P.S. I'll do my best to keep your boys, Aiden and Keaton, out of trouble.
So I'm Chelsea's husband, so I guess that makes Carol my mother-in-law. And she's not your typical mother-in-law at all. The complete opposite to the stereotypes that everyone says mother-in-laws are. She was something else, in a good way. But she was always caring. She was always making sure when I moved out here, obviously married Chelsea, she was pretty good. So obviously some of the things she'd say just to make sure I knew to drive on the right side of the road and, make sure I knew that it was the right sauce to go on stuff and, but, she always meant well, and we'll miss her a lot, so.
I'm Jordan. I'm the first grandkid, the very first one. I just want to say a few things about Mema. She loved all of you guys. Didn't matter if you were friends or family. She treated you guys all like you were her kids. Her house is just like Papa's. It was always swarmed with kids growing up. And I just wish we had longer with her, to be honest. I wish I could tell her more times that I loved her. And I just hope she's resting easy. And thank you guys for coming.
I'm going to try to say something. I was raised in a house with 3 sisters, and I would say, and Kimmy, my cousin, was there about 3/4 of the time. But I was raised in a house full of love, and my mom and I had a pretty special relationship. We used to sit up late after everybody went to bed and talk about things, even as a kid. I say, pretty adult things, I would say. We were pretty good friends. What she wanted us to know most in life was the love of each other, and she raised her children to love and appreciate being loved. And by being in this room, I just want to thank all of you. I've seen, I say, through my sisters, through my parents, I would say, and my children, I've gotten to know everybody in this room, and people have come and gone. But I say it's obvious to me that she did what she intended to do, which was give us that love. Because I've seen some of you grow up, and some of you have seen me grow up, and I just want to thank you for being part of our life.
I'm not the type to get up in front of the room, but since you're recording. I am Dina Murdoch. I'm actually Chelsea, now Kingery Chelsea Barnes' mom. So Chelsea and Chelsea met in kindergarten, and it was Chelsea, Chelsea, and Chelsea, and we had to keep all 3 of them straight. And some of the things that I can remember about Carol, and you all know this, Carol had the patience of an angel. Because if you were around Chelsea when she was growing up, and I mean her Chelsea, I'm telling you, that woman, I don't know where she got it from, because there was many times that Chelsea was at my house and I was gonna kill her, I swear. But Carol was the most patient, most kind person I've ever met in my life. She watched my kids for me when I got divorced and I was working, and she would wake up early in the morning when I bring my kids over, because I worked at a place that I had to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I would drop my kids off, and she took care of them wonderfully. She was also one of the key people in my life that really helped my son, who struggled a lot growing up when they lived just a couple houses down from us. He really had a hard time, and I would wanted him to talk to me, but he didn't, and I was so glad that he had Carol to talk to, because she would sit there and just listen to him and give him the best advice. So thank you for sharing her with me.
So I'm Kimmy, and Carol was like my second mom, and I have way too many memories, but the ones that stick out the most is when I was super little, and I had managed to get underneath the bed, and she called on a search party, and the whole neighborhood was out looking, and I was in the house the whole time, sleeping under a bunk bed. And the other one, besides her not being so patient and always having the fly swatter handy, and she wasn't afraid to swat us when it was, she would say necessary, we would probably say different, but and then we had the trip to St. Louis, and those were probably the ones that poke out the most, and I wished I would have had more time with her. That's it.
Hello everybody, thank you for coming. We were blessed with the best mother you could possibly ask for. The patience, like Dina said, and the unconditional love. There's honestly not a human that I've met in 32 years that even comes close to my mom. I'm gonna miss her and love her, but her presence is still very strong with me, and I have comfort in that. And she made sure to be with her grandkids till the very, very end, which was very special. And yeah, she, what a human being, not just a mom, but a human. Really, really incredible human being.
Hi, my name's Phegley, and I loved her very much, and all I wanted to say was that when she passed away, I was really sad, and I was thinking about that when they pass away, they're not you think they're not with you, but they're in your heart and they're in your soul. So I memorized that, so I think she was still in my heart. Thank you.
So I work at the Neosho library, and I've known Carol since I started working there about 15 years ago. I just realized this week that Caden is related to her. I felt so bad when I didn't put those pieces together. And then when I realized Tara was related, I've known Tara separately at the library. I think what I want to say is, I'm not related to you, but your mom touched me in so many ways when she was taking care of Mr. Parker. I don't know the relationship to all of you of him. Is it your grandpa? Okay, your grandpa. I couldn't remember what that was. My mom was going through similar situations, and we had a lot of good laughs and cries over taking care of an elderly person. And they ended up at the same nursing home for a short time at the same time too, which was really interesting. But I think what I want to say to you is that I've never met a human being like her. Always happy, always going beyond and above the call, always talking about all of you. I love seeing your faces now. And I think what I would say is, if you want to do something for your grandma, be like her. Treat everybody the way she did. Can you imagine if all of you did that, what a world we would have? And I just want to say thank you for letting me see her and know her a little bit. It changed my life. Thank you.